11/22/1963. 59 years ago, on this date down in Dallas, President JFK assassinated. The official story: a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, a communist sympathizer, on the 6th floor of the Book Depository in Dealey Plaza. 3 shots in about 7 seconds with the kill shot to the head. That's what the Warren Commission ultimately came to as a conclusion. But really, in the past 59 years, there have been just gobs of theories out there. I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. What theories are you more drawn to? Is it, the mob? Was it the intelligence agency? Or was it the issue that, you heard from the official stories of Lee Harvey Oswald being the lone assassin? There's so much to this story, and I did just recently watch Oliver Stone's JFK after several years of not having seen it. But I remember when it came out. In the 90s, I was a little tyke. Didn't really even understand what was going on with JFK. Knew it was a big deal, but being a young boy watching that. Realizing that, oh my gosh, you mean that it's possible government can lie to you about something as significant as the chief executive of the United States being assassinated? It kind of, lifted the veil, so to speak, as to all of the different questions that there were around the JFK assassination. So for you, I want to hear, what theory are you most drawn to? 217-629-7970. And maybe some of you still around after experiencing that in real time. I'd love to hear from you as well. 217-629-7970 about the JFK assassination. And what was it like when you heard the news that evening throughout the day? When you heard that the president had been killed, what was the atmosphere like? Was it a moment everybody came together, or was there just more division? I think one of the most telling scenes in Oliver Stone's JFK, again, a fictitious portrayal of a lawsuit, a criminal case against Clay Shaw, alleging he went by Clay Bertram, and associated with Lee Harvey Oswald as a business magnate. Clay Shaw had some other dealings with David Ferry and even Jack Ruby being in the mix there. Jack Ruby being the one who shot and killed Lee Harvey Oswald, despite Oswald being in police custody at the time of his shooting. Fascinating to see that portrayal, but I think one of the most incredible things from Oliver Stone's depiction of the JFK assassination and the trial of Clay Shaw was the magic bullet theory, and how the official story was, there were only 3 bullets, and one of them zigzagged all over the place and made multiple entry and exit wounds of the president and also of the Texas governor at the time, who was sitting right in front of JFK in that limousine. And just how irrational it was that a bullet could do all the zigging and zagging without really having much damage done to the bullet. The film really did portray that in a pretty incredible way. There were also questions about how quick the national press got the information out about Lee Harvey Oswald, and not just the national press, but the international press, seeming to be kind of a cover story of sorts, and how the intelligence community played a role in that. But I think one of the things that the movie missed out on that came out years later was, and this is one of my kind of most compelling theories about the JFK assassination, and again, I want to hear from you about yours. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. But for me, I think one of the most compelling ones is the tramps. Are you familiar with the tramps that were seen in Dallas on that day? you had three men, two of them younger, wearing nice clothes, but seemingly completely out of place, and a third one who was older, wearing more kind of street clothes. But these three tramps were brought in to be interrogated in Dallas by police. But we really didn't get any information about those tramps per se. However, years later, E. Howard Hunt, if you're not familiar with him, he was in the Nixon camp. He was kind of a fixer of sorts. He was even somebody who was, I believe, convicted in the Watergate break-in with Nixon. E. Howard Hunt. Well, on his deathbed several years ago, E. Howard Hunt said that he was a bench warmer for the big event in Dallas. What is that? What's a bench warmer? And if you look at the pictures of the tramps that there are, and you can look this up, but the tramps, one of them, the older one with more street clothes, looks like E. Howard Hunt. So if you do your research there, you'll find those very in a way, strange similarities between that third tramp, the hobos, and E. Howard Hunt. And knowing that E. Howard Hunt was very much integral in some of these illicit activities for Nixon, the fact that on his deathbed years ago, saying that he was a bench warmer for the big event in Dallas raises some alarms. But that's one issue that Oliver Stone didn't include in his film JFK because the information wasn't out then. And there's still so much information that's not out about the JFK assassination, what the intelligence community knew about Lee Harvey Oswald, a complete dossier of Oswald and his dealings with Russia, renouncing his citizenship. Was he a spy? He said he was a patsy when he was arrested. Was that indeed the case? And if there was another gunman involved, that would by definition mean it was a conspiracy. So what are some of the other major theories about that day that you're most drawn to? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com. But 59 years ago today, JFK was assassinated. And then Lyndon Johnson quickly was sworn in to take over the office. And then we had the Vietnam War. Then we had an unchecked Federal Reserve and an unchecked CIA. And then years later, you had the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and then Bobby Kennedy shot and killed. And just a really tumultuous time to be alive during that era. But some of you were around when that happened. I'd love to hear from you as well. Again, 217-629-7970. We'll get your calls coming up here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Hearing from you at 217-629-7970. Which of the JFK assassination theories do you think's most likely? Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Listener says that we all know that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it. He was too dumb, listener says. We didn't have the knowledge and expertise as an assassination. It's she says that, and tell me why after all these years, 50, 60 years, I was a child, and why all the cover-up? No information is supposed to be released until like 2038 or something like that. Then they asked if I had read the book Killing Kennedy by Bill O'Reilly. I have not read that book. I'll have to seek that out. But even then, what information is Bill O'Reilly going to be able to have if they aren't going to release the top secret documents about what they knew of Lee Harvey Oswald? Was he an intelligence asset? All of the other documentation that is being kept under wraps. Even President Trump had said that he was going to release some files, but delaying that release during his administration, bowing to national security concerns. And even then, when the documents were released, they were heavily redacted. And we won't know the full scope, which is fascinating because you could really quell a lot of so-called conspiracy theories by being open and transparent, and that has not been the case when it comes to the JFK assassination. Who knew what, and who may have been involved. And I think that, again, the Oliver Stone film JFK with the portrayal of Jim Garrison by Kevin Costner, when he's in the courtroom laying out all of the things that aren't known, and how, for instance, they misplaced the president's brain, how they didn't provide all of various requested documents, claiming it was out of national security. What national security significance is there to release the information about the assassination of a president? And some of the thinking back then was that, well, they didn't want to have an international conflict. They didn't want people to assume that maybe Russia played a role, and then that could escalate things after the Cuban Missile Crisis. Was that really the rationale here, or would being open and transparent, especially after a decade or so, you had the Church Commission and looking at assassinations and all of the different types of tools and mechanisms that the U.S. intelligence agency has concerning assassinations, and what role was some of the major institutions in this country playing. Just an incredible review of sorts of the past 59 years, how we still don't know to this day all of the details that could really lay to bed some of these overarching questions about the JFK assassination 59 years ago on this day. And still a ton of mystery around it, a ton of speculation. Do you really believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone assassin who was then killed, so there wouldn't have been a trial, even though he said that he was a patsy, and all of the connections that Oswald had with the military and the intelligence communities? And did we fall asleep at the switch of holding government accountable for being completely open and transparent? Again, now 59 years later. All right, it's something I think, hey, are my kids going to know what happened? Are my grandkids going to know what happened? Who knows, really, when we get down to it. Somebody says they've been dialing for an hour and can't get through. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Phones are working. I mean, let's try something here. See if I can call in 217-629-7970. See if we can do this. I'm trying to call.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Please try again later.
Is that what? Is that what you're getting? I just tried calling 629-7970. No wonder I'm not getting any calls on this. Because apparently it's not going through. 217-629-7970. Let's try it again. All right. Calling. All right. Wow.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Try again later.
Wish I could tell you what happened. I don't know what happened. Maybe read into it what you want. But maybe somebody. Okay, hold on a second. Eric, I'm live on air. I've got you on speakerphone.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and let you know that, that's what's going on. I'm trying to call in, and I'm getting that same exact thing. So I figured I would call your cell and just let you know what's going on.
Bizarre, quite frankly. I mean, a topic I think a lot of people would want to sound off on 59 years after the assassination, and they can't call in.
Yeah, exactly. So no one can give any type of their side or, insight or anything like that at all.
Somebody else just messaged and said, is there another number? No, that's the number. That is the number to call into the 217-629-7970. There's, I could give you the Newsline number, but that's for privileged people.
Exactly. And unfortunately, that is the only number. So
unreal. Well, I appreciate you letting me know about that. Somebody else saying the CIA killed Kennedy. They at least got that message to me via text. I am going to try the Newsline number to see if that's working at least. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Even the Newsline number's out. Well, can I dial out? Let's see if I'm going to call my cell number here. See if this works. Nope, that's not right. Let's try this. Gotta do the extension. All right. Calling from the news line to my cell. See if this works. And it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh boy. All right, got to get the engineer on that one. Sorry if you guys wanted to sound off on this topic, but apparently the phones haven't been working. Awesome. Well, we'll see if we can get that rectified. Somebody else messaging saying, roll on the floor laughing. I mean, I could roll on the floor, but that would take me away from the board here to make sure that if the phones did work, I'd be able to get you on, but sorry, can't hear from the callers this morning. Oh boy, I wonder when that started. All right, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk live radio, everybody. Sorry you weren't able to get in to sound off on 59 years after the JFK assassination.